Hello, welcome to my tea haul video. So I recently found, well, okay, let's start at the beginning. So last year, I believe it was last year, my boyfriend of the time, as just a cute little present, got me some tea from this little tea shop, and it was called Buoy tea. And I was like, oh, what is this? And it was apparently a colonial tea that it was like the most popular tea in colonial times, which I thought was super cool. And so I ran out of the little bag this year because I just cherished it. I would only drink it on certain occasions, even though it was so good. So recently, flash forward to now, I went online, I searched Buoy tea, I was like, where can I get this? And I found a site called Oliver Pluff & Co. And they're based in Charleston, and their motto, their little catchphrase is, what is it? A leaf from America's tea heritage. I love that. I'm a nerd who loves tea, and so you mix those things and make historically accurate tea. Amazing. So I went a little crazy because you have free shipping after $50. So I thought, I'm not paying $10 for shipping, so I'm going to spend $50 on tea. So I got a lot, and let's get into it. It's a little dark in here today. It's a little gloomy. Just started snowing. It's cold. It's icky. Welcome to New Paltz. So, the tea that started it all. My Buoy tea. It's called Colonial Buoy. It doesn't look like it's pronounced Buoy because it's B-O-H-E-A. And they have this nice little picture, join or die up here. Oliver Pluff & Co. And so, you get 3 ounces of a mixture of smoked black tea and regular black tea, which creates this really nice, rich, just mildly smoky tea. So it's parts lapsang sochung, so that's the smoky part. And so this one, I don't remember how many crates were dumped into Boston Harbor, but this tea was imported in huge quantities to colonial America, and this was considered the primary tea. Like, they used it so much, it was so popular, that instead of asking for just, like, tea or something, they would just call it Buoy. Like, oh, you want some Buoy? Cool. Yes, definitely. So yeah, this one is fantastic. I am drinking it right now. It's really nice for if you want that smoky taste of lapsang, but you don't want like barbecue leaves. You just want like mildly smoky. And then because I have no self-control, I also got just regular lapsang. And so this one, actually 10 chests of lapsang were thrown into Boston Harbor, along with like thousands of the Buoy. Yeah, so, oh, and another cool thing that are on these sort of old-timey little containers is this one. Yeah, this one has the join or die woodcut. This is pictured political cartoon printed by Ben Franklin. So that's Ben Franklin's cartoon. Over here, we have a tax stamp from the American colonies. It's the tax stamp. It says 5 shillings. And actually, when I ordered these, I was charged 2 cents for the tea tax. They're very funny. I love this company. Like the tea tax for King George III. It's like, yeah, okay. What are you actually doing with my 2 cents? That's my question. So I'm all over the place. I've already had a lot of this tea. I'm like real caffeinated. we're having a good day, nice and toasty in my room. So if I smell this one, when I first opened this, I didn't realize it was just loose tea, and it went all over my bed. So I had to pick up each little thing and put it back in there. It smells so nice. See, the buoy tea smells kind of like a campfire. Like this is drinking a campfire, essentially. Just smells like home and camping and fire and comfort, and definitely something you should drink while reading a book or doing anything, or like maybe at writing with like a dip pen. Feel authentic. The lapsang, which is harder to open. It has almost a sweeter, as Sanford kind of, as my friend puts it, almost more barbecue-y. But yeah, this one's really good. This is campfire. Buoy is campfire. Lapsang is, we're cooking meat over this fire, kind of. We're barbecuing the meat. I don't know. Do with that what you will. Yes. So, the other one that I got is this cacao citrus tea. So, cacao tea, cacao shell tea, which, if you haven't experienced how cacao beans, chocolate beans work, this little hair is distracting me. Go away. Go away. Okay. That's better. So there's the big pod is about that big. And that's just fresh on a tree. It's there, you pick it, you open it up, there's all these little pods in, like little beans inside of the pod. And those are slimy, and they taste kind of good. They're sweet. They have a sweetness on the outside of them. And people who live in the places they grow, they usually, to eat them as just like a nice treat, you just pop that in your mouth and eat the sweet stuff off of the outside. I tried it. I personally wasn't a fan. It was really heckin' slimy, which is not a texture I enjoy. And it was kind of sour. So, not my thing. That's fine. So, people discovered that if you take this little slimy pod and you ferment it, and then you ferment it, and then, I want to say you smoke it? Mostly, the important part is it's fermented. And that is what preserves it and makes it into chocolate that we can consume. It's still very bitter, but it has really good, I think it has L-theanine in it, which acts as a stimulant that is more, it's better for you than caffeine, because it goes over, like caffeine, it'll cause a spike. It's like you ingest the caffeine, and your body's like, whoa, energy, but then you crash pretty quickly. With the L-theanine and the other, I don't know if that's what causes the energy from the cacao or what, but cacao has a more like gentle arc of energy, so you don't have that crazy crash after, which is why the drink that was made out of this cacao was called like Drink of the Gods. And I actually got to make some and try it in Costa Rica, and it is amazing. I do recommend. So that was a very circumlocucious way of saying that this is made of the pods, or the shells that house the cacao. So these shells are also fermented and taste a little, well, they're like they smell a little bit chocolatey, but they're more just like earthy. because it has a little bit of chocolate flavor, and then it also just has a little bit of like earthy flavor. And then with it are little citrus pieces. I don't know what kind of citrus. Orange peel and lemon peel. It smells amazing. I tried this one earlier, and I'm not a huge fan of it just because it's pretty lightly flavored. It has a really nice, light, sort of very light cocoa flavor. So if you just want something nice and smooth to sip, then this is a tea for you. Whoa, my camera's being weird. It's lagging a little. I don't know if it's gonna turn out that way, but cameras, woo. And the buzzing. The cacao tea was a favorite of Martha Washington's. George Washington actually wrote to his agent, she will thank you to get 20 pounds of the shells of cocoa nuts if they can be had of the chocolate makers. Wow, imagine just talking like that all the time. Exhausting, honestly. Yes, so this favorite of Martha Washington, I'm a little neutral about it, but she was a woman of taste. So, that's this one. I believe this was about either $7 or $10. These bigger tins were $13.99, I think. So all in all, they're pretty affordable. It's just when you put them all together, they start getting expensive, and then you've bought $50 worth of tea. Next, because I'm insane, is this. I got a ½ pound of peppermint leaves. I go through peppermint tea like nobody's business. It is my go-to. I love it so much. It's caffeine-free. I can drink it anytime, any day. And it doesn't make me like this, little ADHD crazy child. Yes, so this is just a giant bag of peppermint. And, it has such cool information on the back of each thing, too. I love companies like this, who really, like, give you background information. They're not just handing you a product. They're telling you about it. They're giving you background and information so that you can, in turn, make a video about it and put it on YouTube and spread the knowledge. So, Jonas Hanway, who was an 18th century British author, derided the tea craze. So he just hated everybody drinking tea for some reason. He's a crazy man. He derided the tea craze for its sundry evils. Oof, those evil tea drinkers, and extolled herbal tea as an alternative. So that's kind of interesting. Probably because of the caffeine, he was like, oh, it's a drug, which you are correct. It is a drug. But yeah, so he suggested that people drink herbal tea, specifically peppermint, as an alternative. Peppermint was first classified in 1753, which kind of blows my mind because I always think of peppermint as something, mint in general, as something that's just there. It's just always been there. People use peppermint. It's a thing. It seems like people would have known about it for longer. I'm sure they did, except for the English or whoever classified it. And was grown in colonial American gardens. I also do that. Wow, I'm a colonial American. Yes, and so on the front you have a Paul Revere silver teapot. I'm going to show you all of the tea inside. So yeah, there's all that tea, dark as hell. Lots of tea. I wish I could live inside of this bag. It smells so good. I just feel my sinuses opening up, and it's so nice. So this is gonna last me a while, ideally, unless I suddenly start just eating it by the spoonful. And then, because Oliver and Pluff people are so nice, Oliver, Pluff, and Co., not Oliver and Pluff, they sent me a free thing. it's a little 0.35 ounces of blueberry black tea. It has Chinese tea berries, aronia berries, I'll have to look those up, blue mallow blossoms, flavor, blueberries, and freeze-dried blueberries. So some of them aren't freeze-dried. And I would have opened this up, but it unfortunately doesn't have a little resealable thing, so we're not going to do that right now, but I'm guessing it smells good. Probably like blueberries and black tea. And so now that I've shown you all of the tea things that I got from them, I'll talk to you a little bit more about tea in general, specifically black tea, which is what I've been getting kind of into lately. Oh, but first, something else I found on their site is this thing called Young Hoisin tea, I believe. And I found this really interesting. It was considered the, so there's gunpowder green tea, which is where the I believe it's, don't quote me on this, but the secondary leaves on the green tea plant after the first rain are picked, and then they're rolled up into little balls, and they're dried that way. And so that, they look kind of like gunpowder, which is hence the name. And that's like a medium body kind of tea, like the go-to, sort of. And then Young Hoisin, I think I'm saying that right, is, it's a lighter, sweeter, sort of higher tier, more expensive tea. It was more highly taxed because King George knew he could, because people liked it so much. And so what they did was they would take the higher up leaves before the first rain in the spring, and they would roll them into little, like, cigar shapes, into little rolls, and then they would dry them that way. And so when you would pour water on them, they would unfurl in a kind of cool way. If you've ever seen just loose leaf green tea unfurl, it's really fun to watch. And they call that the agony of the tea, which I really relate to. I feel like that's a very, very big mood, that agony of the tea. So yes. That's so good. Also, something I've noticed about the black tea I've gotten from Oliver Pluff is that it doesn't really get bitter. This has been steeping for solidly like 18 minutes, which is not too long, but other teas would have gotten bitter by now, and this one is still delicious. It is very, very good. So yeah. And so now onto just general tea stuff. All of the Oliver Pluff teas, recommend you brew them at 195 for, I think they all say 3 to 5 minutes. I tend to not follow that. I go for like 200 degrees usually, which is similar. A lot of black teas they need hotter water to really open up the full body taste that they have. Herbal teas, you want to go hotter, like much hotter, like full on boiling for herbal teas. That'll really get all of that flavor out. And then for lighter teas, like white tea, you want, I don't know, maybe like 140 degrees, something like that. Not too hot, because that can make them bitter. And green tea is about the same, like low hundreds, because otherwise they will get bitter faster. And you don't want to brew them too long, because then they will get bitter again. So green and white, low temp, not a lot of time. Black tea, medium temperature. You can brew it for probably a shortish amount of time is better. It totally depends on the quality of the tea though. Just like I'm kind of lazy, and I like when my tea starts to get really, really full-bodied, and sometimes even a little bit bitter, so I can taste all of the stuff in there. And And so I usually just leave my tea bag, or my computer tried to turn off, or what I use, my little tea ball. I love the little tea balls. They're so helpful. It's loose leaf. Loose leaf is a lot better. It's a lot better. So I usually just leave that in, but that's up to you, friend. And then herbal teas you want really hot, and you can usually leave those in. They don't really get bitter. Mint tea definitely doesn't get bitter. I know this is just a terrible thing to do, but I will sometimes just leave a tea bag of like mint in my cup and just keep refilling it for like a day and a half, 2 days, until it stops tasting like tea. But I don't recommend, because after the first couple cups, it's not going to taste very good anymore. But when you're running low, it's helpful. It's a helpful trick. And even this bui tea, this is my second steep of this tea ball. I added a little bit of lapsang just to get that smokiness back in, but yes, it worked out quite well. That's about all I've got. All I can say is tea is great. Oliver Pluff & Co. has fantastic teas. I can fully say that since I've tried all of them now that I've gotten, and they're all fantastic. They're also very nice. I under the like, leave us a note or a comment or like a special request on the order form, I said leave me a note or like a stick or something. I don't know. Something original. And they wrote me a little note, and someone drew a teapot with a little music note coming out of it. And I was like, that's so cute. So they're fantastic people, actual real people. Yeah, go and support some tea folks. And if you're worried about that $50 free shipping minimum, order for holidays, order for family. Get a bunch of tea-loving friends together and order as a group. Do it. And you get history. You get historical tea. And it's delicious. And then you can do like I do and go around and tell people who haven't asked you anything about your tea. Just be like, hey stranger, I'm drinking colonial tea. Would you like to hear more? They don't, most of the time, but sometimes they do. And so, that's what I've got for you today. Thanks. If you've made it this far, yay! Let me know if I should do any more review videos or videos about tea or food, or I don't. This was a very spontaneous idea. This is a 23-minute long video. If you've got nothing better to do, go ahead, watch it. Yeah. And if anybody lives near me and wants tea or some good conversation, come hang out. I've got a hot water heater in my room. All I do all day is drink tea. Alrighty. Have a nice day, folks. Bye.